Leo Mintek of the band Outernational. Leo, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, man, thanks for talking with me.
It's great that you're able to come on, and obviously we're promoting your upcoming show. It's tomorrow night. You guys are playing at the Knitting Factory in Brooklyn, $12 in advance, $15 at the door. Where can you get tickets online in advance for that show?
Well, there's links up online. It's at Facebook or at knittingfactory.com. You find the tickets real quick.
And so now we'll get to some fun questions here as we move along. So, Leo, how'd you get involved in music? What was your kind of introduction into music, and how'd you get started in that?
Well, I've been a musician my whole life, man. I've been playing guitar since I was a kid. I grew up playing. My dad had a guitar, and I took it when I was young. Started playing Chuck Berry and Jimi Hendrix songs, and started learning punk rock and Rancid songs by myself. It's been an endless journey. Our band formed here in New York, years ago, with a bunch of similar cats like myself, musicians, but really trying to really make some art for right now in this moment, man. Not just for fun, not just for self-expression, but like to really respond to what's going on in the world, man, to provide some cultural alternatives to what's happening, help give people some hope and a better vision, for a better world, because this world is so crazy right now, man. And, we just step off from this point of that, don't think like an American. Think about all of humanity, Think about the whole world. And, we go there with the songs, the poetry, and also the sounds that are in the music,
Yeah, I mean, music's supposed to express, a person's view on life, and whether that be talking about the world, talking about their personal life, all that kind of stuff. But you guys really take a political approach to the way of your music, I feel. How did that come to be? How did you guys come together as a band? How did you meet each other? And then how did you develop your vision for, the kind of music that you're going to play?
Mm-hmm. Well, we all met one by one, but it was here in New York, mostly in Brooklyn and in the city. And we started kind of with the vision, with the idea that we want to make some music right now to respond to what's going on. We listen to all this music. We love all this stuff. We can play, so we're going to put it into that. But it's really try to really speak to this moment, man, and give people a better vision for what's out there,
Yeah.
Some of the guys in the band, like one of the cats in the band, he's been an activist for years and a musician and poet in various ways. But they hung out with Joe Strummer one night. This was like almost 10 years ago, man.
Wow.
And Joe, they were talking to him all these ideas, and he was like, "Start a band." and how are you going to say no to that?
I don't think you can.
Yeah. So we met each other one by one, all kind of uniting on that kind of vision.
Yeah.
And musically, we do what we do. Right now it's a rock and roll show. We got, we go around the globe. We get you dancing. It's heavy, but musically, the future of this band is wide open, and there's no limits except ourselves. It's the vision that guides it more than any kind of sound or any genre or any type of record. We've made a concept album about the border. We've made a hard rock album produced by the guy from Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, Tom Morello.
We do acoustic shows sometimes with an accordion and guitars, so there's a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. The main point is that the world right now is in a terrible way. There's solutions to it. There's a way out, man. We could have a revolutionary new society. We could live differently. We could do something right now to get on that course. And we're trying to provide a cultural aspect to all of that. We're
talking to Leo Mintek of the band Outernational. They're playing a show tomorrow at the Knitting Factory. $12 in advance, $15 at the door. Such a bargain for such a great show. And so you were talking about how Tom Morello produced your latest release, Future Rock. Talk about what it was like working with him. He's giving you guys such high regards. He called you guys that you guys could be the next Rage Against the Machine. So what was it like working with Tom?
It was a powerful experience, man. I mean, he's kind of mentored the band for a little while now.
Yeah.
He's really supported us and given us advice and help and put us on in various ways. But this record was dope because he actually produced it in the studio together, which meant going in there with songs, playing him demos, him saying, "Hey, that's really great. You know what? This is the best part of that song. Do it more." Or giving kind of songwriting. Not really songwriting as much as song arranging,
Yeah.
So I feel like we have now been schooled a little bit in the Rage Against the Machine school of arrangement, which is like cut the crap, keep it simple. If you want to be heavy, don't have everybody playing 400 notes per minute.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to clear the lane and clear out a lot of space. And
right.
Put it right down the middle.
Yeah.
Kind of directing and focusing the music. And then for me personally, I gotta play on a couple of his guitar amps. He even let me overdub on one of his guitars. So that's as a personal guitar geek moment. That was beautiful.
That's pretty awesome.
You can hear, man. I even overdubbed with this double neck.
Wow.
The 2-neck guitar he plays on Ghost of Tom Joad.
Yeah.
I've got to overdub on that. Not even using the second neck. It's just the guitar is so massive that it gives it this like heavy, this resonance, this fullness that you just wouldn't get from a regular. Because it's like 2 guitars. It's like double weight. It's massive. So I overdubbed on that a little bit. No, but it was really powerful. And he's like us. He's a song guy. He might like a style. He has things that he particularly likes. He likes rock and metal and things like that. But like really, he's a song guy, and he's about the meaning, and about the purpose for it, Yeah.
Well, and being in your band, you've had some great opportunities. We just talked about playing with Tom Morello. You guys also were able to play some awesome festivals. You played at Bonnaroo. You played the Warped Tour. What are some of your favorite moments, or some of your favorite venues that you've played? In fact.
Man, well, I love traveling and seeing other places. Just this last year, we toured cross country 3 times in a van, and it was really powerful, man. We went down into Texas and California, and the southern borderlands of Mexico, and even just barely dipped into Mexico for the first time.
Yeah,
and it's just so powerful just to be down there, to meet people, to see the local bands. Like we played in El Paso, Texas, with a band from Juarez, Mexico, who just crossed the border to play the show.
Yeah.
And then and very interesting to hear these people's stories, listen to their music, and just kind of share and build a relate. Like, that's our neighbors, man. Like, they're right there. Not only that, but like here in New York, like the people from Mexico are everywhere, and just to build those connections, man.
Yeah.
And I think people down there really appreciate hearing from us too, and saying, wow, a band from New York came down here. Like I didn't know anybody even thought about us. They can feel very isolated out there.
Right.
And it was very powerful just to have that 2-way experience with them. So that's my favorite thing, man. It's great to play a huge festival. It's great to get in a big stage. And of course, that's good, especially because you got to see a lot of people, reach people. But I'm really into connecting up with folks. Even the show tomorrow is exciting because it's very different too. We're playing. It's almost like an avant-garde hip-hop show with some rock bands. We're playing with Beans from the Anti-Pop Consortium, if you know who those guys are. It's like classic backpacker, weirdo hip-hop. I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. This is not my scene. I'm learning about it.
Yeah.
And this guy, Mike Ladd, like avant-garde poetry. And to me, it's like the whole Def Jux sound, weirdo, crazy hip-hop,
Yeah.
And then they're putting a couple of rock bands on, and we're headlining tonight. So that's going to be cool, too, because I know we're going to be playing for and meeting people who are really into that. They probably don't know Outernational. And so I want to learn what that's about,
Yeah, and so do you take all these different experiences, all these different people that you play with, and like what influences your guys' music? Like what other bands have influenced you guys, whether it be when you were kids or what when you're writing music now? What are you throwing on the iPod?
It's a lot. The musically, like I said, our limits on ourselves. Right now, this week, I'm listening to so much '60s jazz,
really?
Like Wayne Shorter, Freddie Hubbard, Herbie Hancock, Art Blakey, Tony Williams, John Coltrane, like Lee Morgan. That's what I'm listening to obsessively this week.
Wow.
But that's just this week. Everybody's very different in the band. You hear the influences. People always say it kind of sounds like The Clash. You got a Pogues thing. You got a Rage Against the Machine. You got a Chili Peppers thing. You got a Manu Chao thing. You got a Gogo Bordello thing. So, like, those are some of the reference points now. But watch out, in 4 years it might be different,
right.
And like I said, we soak it up, we put it back out as we see it. And it's not really about the style, it's about the emotional effect, and it's about the song and what the song conveys.
Yeah, I always find it fascinating when you ask a musician, what they're listening to, because it's never what you expect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just never. You could be talking to a guy that plays in a hardcore band, and you can ask him, what are you listening to? And it's always something just out of the blue that you're just completely not ready for, and that's like. That's such a talent for me, is like when you listen to something and then you can turn it into like your own genre. I think that's such an amazing thing that musicians can do. And I, not being a musician myself, but I have musicians in the family, I can't quite comprehend what it's like to be a musician. Because when I listen to a style of music, if I'm going to produce something on my own, it's going to be the style of music I'm listening to. But for you to say, you're listening to 60s jazz and then to listen to some of the music that you play, it's just so totally different. It's really fascinating to me. It's really cool. So again, kind of going off on my own there.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. And I can geek out on this for hours. Like the way that they do relate in bizarre ways, in ways you don't expect, from the sensitivity to the way rhythms pull against each other, to note choices and melodic choices, and there are, like, to me, I see those connections and I thrive on all those connections.
Absolutely. So, what are some of the bands that are out there right now that you would recommend, aside from Outernational, what are some of those bands that, you feel have it right, that are like doing it for the right reasons and playing doing the right things right now? So what are some of the bands that you would endorse to, for others to listen to as well?
Good question. Well, on the local level, there's one of these bands, there's a band that I really love in New York called Escarioca Sound System, also just known as Escarioca. They're friends of mine, but they're, in my opinion, one of the best bands in New York. And hoping we do some shows with them in the future, or in the near future.
Yeah.
They play psychotropical, punk, cumbia, salsa, dance music, and great performers. Great shows, great stuff. On the bigger tip, on that, the worldwide tip, I really respect a group like Calle 13. They're from Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with them. They started off as kind of like hip hop, but just musically, it's all encompassing, and just the message is just first and foremost. And I'm just learning Spanish, but I'm digging on the lyrics and the concepts and the music videos, and what they do is really powerful. Well, so I give them 2 thumbs up. Since you asked.
It sounds like you guys, have a lot of influences. You talk about going to Mexico in the Hispanic community. Is there any reason for that? I know on one of your album covers you have, a bandit or whatever you want to call it. Where is that influence come from? Where does that deep-rooted, you have Spanish in your music. Where does that kind of stuff come from you guys?
Well, it comes from not being tied down to America and the United States.
Right.
That's really what it comes down for. And then our particular connection with, Latin music scene and Latinos in the United States, and hopefully, to South America soon, it's mostly just because we're neighbors and we're right here, man. And there's so many divisions between people, but we're right here next to each other,
Yeah.
And then musically, there's so many deep connections here. And I really don't think it's even that special that we're connected up with these people. I think what's remarkable is that it doesn't happen more,
Right.
And I always love seeing that when bands are connecting up and you go to kind of I don't want to say interracial because it's like whatever, but you see mixed crowds like that.
Right,
you go to, you see that. I think that's really important. For me, we just need to see more of that. And the reason why we're so connected, because we're right here, man. We share this border, and look at New York, look at everybody,
Yeah.
But we've played on reggae bills before, we've played with other kinds of, worldly music things, from it be Irish bands or other kinds of things, klezmer music, and I hope to do a lot more, And in New York, there's thousands of communities from all over the world and music scenes I would love to connect up with, especially if they have some kind of rock, punk, kind of energy in it, and wildness. So, but I have much more, man. I want to go to Greece. I want to go to the Middle East. I really do. I want to find out where those bands are and where those people are. How do you even get there and talk to these people?
Right.
And start building stuff and causing trouble,
Right.
And breaking down the barriers between the people resisting in both,
Absolutely. I love how you guys talk about, and especially how you're talking about, the centralization of American society, really. They only really worry about themselves, our own music, our own culture, our own movies, and we don't really take the time to listen to the rest of the world and what the rest of the world's societies say and what the rest of the world's music says and their movies and what the rest of the world's thinking. We kind of isolate ourselves, and in a way it limits us in our abilities to grow as a people, and it's sad to see that happen, really. So I'm talking with Leo Mintek of the band Outernational. They're playing a show tomorrow night at the Knitting Factory in Brooklyn. You can get $15 tickets at the door, or look online, outernational.net. I believe you can find the tickets online. It's $12 in advance. Be sure to listen to that. You guys also have a show coming up in December, correct? Is that also in Brooklyn?
I don't know if I can talk about that quite now.
Okay.
The show's tomorrow.
And so, anything else planned for the coming of next year? Obviously, 2013 is right around the corner. Do you guys have anything on the schedule horizon for then?
we got a lot of new music coming your way, new releases, different kinds of releases are going to be coming out next year. And, of course, there will be lots of touring and performing to go along with
Awesome,
that.
and we hope that we can get you guys out to St. John's, whether it be for a rock show or an acoustic set. We hopefully that we can get you guys out here and set you guys up with a strong fan base here at St. John's, and we'd love to have you on.
Very cool, man. We'd love to come out there. We don't come up your way nearly enough. We'd love to do that.
You know, it's kind of sad. A lot of the bands, they really stick to Brooklyn, and they never come up to Queens.
Yeah.
It gets kind of lonely out here. You know, I always have to travel into Brooklyn to catch a show.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have one right around the corner or right here on campus. So I hope we can set something up to where you guys can come out here, maybe come into the studio, do an acoustic set, something like that, to where we can try to get your music out there through our airwaves and through our media ways. So
very cool. We love that.
I thank you very much for the time, Leo, for coming on the program. We're going to definitely have you back at some point in the future, and we'll try to set something up. So thank you very much for taking the time and talking to me today.
All right. Thanks, Vince.
All right, Leo. That was Leo Mintek with the band Outernational.